He said, somebody's very serious about giving me an offer for this car. Would you be upset if I sold it? And I said, you can't sell the car. You just can't sell the car. It's a 55 Chevy, and it's my dad's car. I can't remember life without it. Since I can remember, that car's been in our family. It's definitely a special car for us. Kind of one of those things where I think he was getting really tired of driving it and fixing it up and keeping it running and maintaining and doing all of that. And a couple of people, and this isn't the first time over the years, many people have approached him to buy the car. He said, somebody's very serious about giving me an offer for this car. Would you be upset if I sold it? And I said, you can't sell the car. You just can't sell the car. I think that was June of 2021 that he signed it over to me officially, went to AAA, and it became my car.
When you start getting in your 60s and stuff, it gets a little tough to lay on the ground on a cement floor and start putting in transmissions and stuff. I thought, you know what? The car wasn't going much more than 200-300 miles a year. I thought, it's time.
I mean, I remember my dad always tinkering around with the car, and I was always being annoying and was around. I remember rip roaring up and down. They live on a mountain, and rip roaring up and down on those roads. Not sure how he didn't lose it, as dangerous as he was. But he also, you know, put all sorts of armor all on the back seat. So I can remember just flying back and forth in this car.
This one here, I had to guess she might have been 16 years old, if that, I ain't sure. So her and her mother got the bright idea. They're gonna go out back where I had the car stored, and they're gonna get this car. So they call me up and they start telling me this story. I said, let me guess, the car's on fire. Yes, it is. She's crying. They were at the local Turkey Hill down the road. And Supreme, the car started on fire. The reason this car started on fire was because you know where the battery box is located in these cars. Well, the acid would cook out of these batteries and go down onto my chrome valve covers. So my solution was take some rags and stuff and shove them over there. Well, they don't know. They jump in the car, fire it up, and off they go. Well, these rags are laying against the header pipes and stuff, and lo and behold, the car was on fire. Now, the interesting thing about that is I kept my cool pretty good that day until I got to the car and I opened up the hood. Who was it? It was a worker. He comes out with a fire extinguisher, sprays a hole underneath the hood, puts a fire out, which that's what you do. So I get there, I open up the hood and I look and I'm just shaking my head. At that point, now we gotta get the car home. And her boyfriend's there and stuff. I said, I'll get it home. How are you gonna get it home? I said, it'll start up. It did. It started up. And I'll tell you what, you never seen a 55 Chevy going up through towards where I lived, smoke flying out everywhere and stuff. But it ran good and went right home with it, but yeah. This car here is probably, I had to guess, the third or fourth one I own. I have two other brothers, a younger one and an older one. And between the three of us, we probably had 20, 30 of these 55 Chevys. Couldn't be 56, couldn't be 57. Had to be a 55. Had to be a two-door sedan. My brother-in-law bought this car. He had it maybe 6 months or a year or so. Well, he found out he really knows nothing about them. He wasn't mechanically inclined. Well, then he sold it to me. At that point, this car was canary yellow. Had a 6-cylinder in it, 3-speed on the column. Well, that ain't gonna fly with me. I had a 64 Chevy at the time. It was an Impala, nice car. Had the 327, 300 horsepower in it. We decided we're gonna rip these cars apart and switch all the drivetrains in these cars. Then I got the car painted. I think that car was painted 2 or 3 times, 2 for sure. No, 3, I lied. It was actually that color, that blue, it was almost that color, the whole car. So I decided I like the two-tone cars, so I put white on the top. And then it wasn't long after that, maybe 5, 6 years down the road, I decided, well, I want it red. As you can see, there was a lot of crappy work done.
Patchwork.
patchwork. I come from an era where you didn't have money to spend in these cars, you know, so you did what you had to do, you know.
My dad had done some of his restoring to keep...
My magic?
Yes, his magic. He was a roofer. He had his own roofing business for years. Anything could be fixed with roofing pitch or caulk. So there's probably quite a bit of roofing pitch that needed to be removed from the car. And we knew there were issues with it. Floor pans were rusted, and obviously once the paint's off of it and you're down to bare sheet metal, you're somewhat at the mercy of, you know, what do you want to do next? You know, do it right. No better way of saying it, but like half-ass it, and I just didn't want to half-ass it. Something that's going to be in our family, you know, for a really long time. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to get it out in the sunshine, and it needs to be protected, very much so. I mean, it'll be in garage kept, obviously. I'll probably drive it to work a couple times a month when the weather's nice and there's literally zero threat of rain. I'll take it to shows too, as well. So it's not going to be one that it gets put on a car carrier or anything like that. Like, I wanted something that I could absolutely drive.
Oh, it makes me feel like $1 million. It really does. Just for the fact that she's going to keep it and preserve it, you know. I told her when we come in and looked at it, we walked by, I said, I'll just give you the money for the car, I'll take it back. She didn't want to hear it, so that means to me she's very happy. My advice to her is, don't ever leave any of these kids drive this car unless you're with them. And if they're by themselves, make sure they're at least 50 years or older. That's my take on it. And it may sound funny right now, but boy, if they'd go out with themselves and, oh, I'm going to see what this thing does, could be a heartbreaker in a moment. Yeah. I know from experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, these are not toys. But I drove like that my whole life with these cars, so I have a good idea what I'm doing. You just don't get in them and jump on them if you don't. Like I say to her, you want to have fun, when you want to show off your car, push the clutch in and just rev it up a little. I said, you stay out of a lot of trouble. These are not toys. You got to drive these things with respect and take it easy. Yep.
Don't drive like Grandpa.
Don't even try it. Nope, nope.
What would you say to your boys? If you're looking to, if they are watching this, what would you say to them?
Sell the car and I will kill you. Y'all have fun fighting over it. Just don't sell it.